Yo, what's good, YouTube? How you doing today? Welcome to Guerrilla Tactics, the only place where you create guerrilla warfare to make change. Now, beautiful people, I thank you all for coming in for another show. And you guys gotta understand, this one's actually big because this is the first time I got a request. And the request that I got and the topic of discussion is called skepticism. And we're gonna be talking about what skepticism is. We're gonna talk about what it means, why it's important, in society, and where it can draw a path and how people move and the way people move in their life. Yo, I got a blue tongue. I was eating candy and stuff, so my tongue's all blue and stuff. But before we get started, beautiful people, I want you guys to like, subscribe, and comment to my videos. Please hit that notification bell, hit all, so that you guys can be more in tune into when I'm gonna drop another show and when another show is gonna be coming on. I'm gonna start doing shows a little more regularly. It's just that I had a lot going on. I was trying to get things in order, so on and so forth. And I just want to say I appreciate every last one of y'all, all 3K individuals that hopped on my last show, all 600 and semi people who liked my show from the last show that I just did about power. Now we're going to be following through with power, but that's going to be the video coming up next. But right now we're going to be talking about skepticism and what it means and what it stands for. So beautiful people, we here to make more bangers, and just understand that, all I'm trying to do is just teach. That's it. And give as much information as possible. We all going through something in life. We all facing hard times. We all trying to find a way to make it out, make ends meet, and get to a comfortable and peaceful life, and the one that we want to live. And in order to get there, sometimes we have to face our own personal journey. And we all got a story, we all got a journey, we all got a circumstance. Y'all know my story 10 times over. Y'all watched from part 1 video down to this video coming up, and so on and so forth. So, we all going through whatever we going through, but we all got to stand by each other and try the best that we can. Give faith, give understanding, so on and so forth. So, beautiful people, let's get started.
Already know who it is. It's your boy.
All right, what's good, beautiful people? So yeah, the topic of discussion is going to be skepticism. And in order to have a conversation about skepticism, we first have to understand what it means. Well, skepticism is also another word used as skeptic. A skeptic is pretty much a person that has a lack of belief, of a knowledge or understanding of something. So good. What I mean by that is a good example. If we're talking in religious basis and we're talking about God, some people are skeptic to whether God exists. They are skeptic on whether Jesus was actually the Son of God or if he was just a prophet. So that's what a skeptic does. A skeptic is in denial or has a doubt of whatever it is of knowledge that is being displayed, especially one that does not calculate or have an understanding to, at least in their mind. Now, another example about it, which we're going to get more in depth as we go along in the video, is when you like something like what I'm doing. I have a video content that's used to talk about positivity, to talk about the truth of things that's going on in the world. But you're going to have some individuals who are going to be skeptic to whatever I'm talking about. So that's where skepticism comes from. I might have a view of positivity and understanding that, everything's going to be all right and we're going to make things work and so on and so forth. God is good, the whole nine. I'm always blessed. That's stuff that I am in the core of myself. But you're going to have some individuals who don't believe that. Some individuals who not only don't believe in the concept of just straight positivity in the way that I'm talking about it, but are also skeptic to my walk. You understand? So here we are going back to religion, and I wanted to start with religion because that's a big controversy that happens within our community and so on and so forth. Some people believe in God, some people don't. Some people believe in the faith of understanding that they're going to go to heaven one day. Some people don't believe that there's a heaven at all, or even to begin with. You understand? So you get skepticism that comes with it as you go along. So going into religion and talking about God, there are many skeptics of Christianity. And Christians are deemed as supposed to be perfect, right? You know, they're not gonna do any wrong. They're not gonna they don't do normal stuff that other people do, and so on and so forth. But for those individuals who actually study and read the word, like me for an example, you come to understand that that's actually false. Christianity isn't about, oh yeah, I gave myself to God and now I'm perfect and now I don't do no wrong. It's about understanding that I am taking a journey within inside myself in my sinful nature and trying to find a betterment in who I am. That's where it comes down to. But we get so stuck into the refining of the title that we place certain things, and we only paying focus to that and forgetting where the focus is supposed to be drawn to. The whole purpose behind whether it's Christianity, whether it's whoever wants to believe in whatever they believe, is that all we're saying is that we believe in God. But when you get into the whole Christians is this and Christians is that and Christians are this, Christians da 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 da, or Christians y'all contradicting yourselves and so on and so forth. Y'all you talking about you know, you holy and this, that, and third, but y'all the first ones in the club drinking. Let's be honest though. Your claim isn't wrong. But the reality of it is that the Bible doesn't state that we're supposed to be perfect or we're going to be perfect. It says that on our best days, we are nothing but filthy rags. That's crazy. On our best days. But the skeptic is going to, you know, go against the grain. They like to go against the knowledge that you're talking about. So if I tell you that God says thou shalt not kill, the skeptic might come and have a rebuttal to that statement. Well, you're saying God shall not kill, but what if I'm with my family and someone robs us and they got a gun and they ready to kill us? I'm supposed to let them kill us. I got to take him out. Well, the reality of it is that God also says that you have a choice. You can take him out if you want to. The only thing is that you have to deal with the consequence that comes later. So, you know, going back into skepticism and the value of it is that here we are, individuals speaking on what they believe in, what their faith is, and so on and so forth. Then you have individuals who don't believe it. And it can be as simple as you just saying, I'm always blessed. See, it's not even just about the fact that I'm talking about God or I'm talking about how blessed I am. It's the positivity behind it. And the reason why I say that is because some individuals go through some really dark stuff. And these dark things that they're facing as they go along in their journey is showing them that, that things ain't right. Positivity, love. You know, if I was to talk about love and the purity of how love is and it's an agape love and so on and so forth, the skeptic is probably going to say, listen, love is the most used word in this society. And no one really follows love and don't believe in it. So skepticism is the value of the doubt in the faith. You understand? So whereas faith is telling you to have undying faith and keep believing and don't be wavery, the skeptic is going to be the opposite side. They're the ones that doubt. The reality of it all comes down to one simple factor, and one simple factor, period. And that's called a mindset. Mindsets is the very, very valuable thing when it comes down to you taking a journey in life. Your mindset and how you cultivated that mindset is very, very important. Those are the things that is going to dictate you and bring you down to the place that you need to go. But the reality of it is a lot of times we do not understand that. So we get trapped in that mindset. And then what happens is that our mindset then dictates different actions that we take. Behavioral actions, community-based actions, faith actions, the whole nine. And then your actual actions, your physical actions, the things that you do and why you do them. All of these things are now being dictated as you go along. So when you're looking at skepticism, especially when you're talking about the value of doubting something, we all do it. We all have a value that we doubt at some point or some way. And a lot of times we do it without ever realizing it. We talk about certain things and we doubt that person's knowledge. We doubt that person's validity of what they're saying is true or possible or so on and so forth. I can even say it in my own life. I've had times where individuals used to ask me how I was able to move the way that I did. It's like I was always a step ahead or 10 steps ahead or whatever the case is. And they were kind of mind blown by it. They was like, yo, like, you're not perfect. You don't know everything. So how is it that you're still ahead? How is it that every time I try to understand something, you even greater, you even further than that? Well, the reality of it is that I worked harder. My value of knowledge and experience is what was able to get me to a place that was further. So let's talk about it in the sense of fighting, right? So I train a lot. I like to fight. I like to, study martial arts, the whole nine, so on and so forth. I like to spar with people. I like to wrestle with people. I like to do all of that, right? But I have a very, very innate ability when it comes down to hand-to-hand combat. But then you have other individuals who want to learn. So I used to always tell them, like, oh, yo, you getting better, but you ain't never going to beat me. No matter how good you get, you're not beating me. I'm just letting you know that now. And they used to think that was like a mind game. They used to get tight. But in a way, it was a mind game. But it was a mind game for you and a mind game for me. The mind game for you was that it was to drive you to fight harder to try to beat me. You're not supposed to get discouraged. You're supposed to get better. You're supposed to get to a point where you're like, yo, now I'm going to definitely beat you. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people couldn't do that. Why? Because they were stuck in the doubt. Oh, he's saying I can never beat him. Yeah, right, man. You ain't the best and the hardest of all time. Da 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 da. But the value of what I was speaking wasn't about me being better than you. It was me saying that no matter how hard you work, I'm gonna work harder. So whereas you're trying to aim to beat me, I'm still aiming to stay up ahead of you. So you got to see the reality of it. So now when you go into the value of it, when you really look at it, how hard are you training versus how hard am I training? But based off me saying my knowledge and me telling them certain things that I've experienced, I know, or I witnessed, or I practiced, they will doubt it. And then deem you crazy or deem you as somebody who thinks that you're above and above water and all this other extra stuff and greater than them, when in reality, you never thought that to begin with. So skepticism is a mind game. It's a mindset. When you have that skepticism, a lot of times you do it without realizing it. A cook can sit there and cook a whole meal and say, this is about to be delicious. The skeptic is going to say, let's see. Like, you understand? But the reason behind it was more of a sense of like, I can't go off your word. I have to see for myself. And it's understandable. It's understandable. But then the question of it is that when, if you can't look at something that's blind and understand that sometimes that thing can be something that's good, how can you grow as an individual? And you have to look at it in that sense too. Because the reality of it is that you want to know whether my cooking is good. You doubt the fact that it might be good. Just because I say it good and it look good don't mean nothing. You gotta taste it yourself and judge it yourself. You know what I'm saying? The same value goes back when we're talking about the religion aspect. We're talking about believing in God or not believing in God, and so on and so forth. But the thing about it is that you guys are looking at things from two different spectrums. So the knowledge you have and the knowledge they have is two different things. You guys aren't in each other's shoes, so you can't dictate on what the knowledge or experience of that person is. So I can sit here and say about positivity and so on and so forth. The skeptic is going to be like, nah, listen, ain't no such thing as none of that. I've been hurt. I've been in pain. I went through a lot. So on and so forth. Human beings is trash. They treat us wrong. The whole nine. I'm a human being, but it's all that. I doubt positivity. I doubt love. I doubt all of that. But then the crazy part behind it is that in their mind, I lived a wash-colored life. I lived a specific notion. I'm being biased off of that stance. But in reality, you don't know my story, and I don't know yours. So yeah, I might be talking and preaching positivity, but my life could have been extremely negative. But your life was extremely negative too. So what was the difference between me and you? We chose two different paths. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things isn't about a doubt. Sometimes it's just that we chose different choices. And that's the reality of it all. So sometimes you have to understand that. But here's the thing though. Here's the thing. And y'all gonna probably look at me and be like, what? What are you talking about, bro? Like, huh? The skeptic isn't wrong either. Let's be honest. The skeptic isn't wrong either. Right? Because they're questioning the things that individuals are afraid to question. I can tell you that Jesus exists and that Jesus died for our sins. Most people are going to be like, yeah, you're right. Even if they didn't believe it. But you get that one skeptic they're going to go against that grain and be like, nah, show me proof. Where's the proof that Jesus died, that Jesus was the Son of God? And show me proof that he died to save us of our sins. Because you're telling me that this one man, human being, number one, is the person that died for us. But you're saying that humans isn't perfect. So how is it this one human is it? But then that's when the conversation unravels. Because then here we go into the conversation. Well, because Jesus is the Son of God and God created him for that purpose. What? You know what I'm saying? Now you're telling me supernatural being brought something to life who happens to be human but happens to be perfect, died for our sins and saving all of us. So it's okay for the skeptic to have their doubts. The doubt isn't the problem. It's what you do with it. You understand? So you have a person that doubts God, right? And you have a person that believes in God. The person that doubts God is going to challenge the one in faith. It helps the one in faith because now the one in faith has to work extra hard to save a soul. See, the reality of it is that we're not trying to condemn this person because they don't believe in God or they doubt. And it's okay to doubt. In fact, God wants you to doubt because then he can have more conversation with you. It's okay. God knows you whether you're doubting, not doubting, whatever the case is. He understands all of that. But the value of the doubt, I'm going to be real honest, I love God on a highest scale. But there are even times when I question it. I question God sometimes. And I have that chat with him. And he teaches me what I need to know. Simple as that. Another way of skepticism, right? I can tell somebody I talk to God all the time. I hear his voice, all of that. The skeptic is going to say, nah, you ain't. You telling me you heard God's voice? Yeah, I heard God's voice.
Nah, you're lying, bro. Stop fronting, you capping.
That's the reality of it is. That skeptic is going to be like, you're bugging, bro. And here's the funny part. It's all of us. We all skeptics and non-skeptics at the end of the day. Because when we see something that we don't believe in or we don't have knowledge of and we don't have proof of, we're going to doubt it. And you become a skeptic because of that. You understand? And it's the same value that goes on the opposite side. The thing that skeptics don't understand is that inside you kind of want to know if it's true. You want to have a faith that it could be true. You understand? And that's period. Now, let me give you an example. I told you I love God. And I think I talked about this in one of my earlier videos from when I first started or whatever the case was. But before I found God, I doubted him. I actually cursed God's name in my mouth. I didn't want nothing to do with God. Because I felt like God condemned me and did me dirty. Taking me from my mother and me going through all the dark stuff that I went through in my life. My life wasn't easy. You understand? So I had my doubts. I didn't have my faith in the beginning. But as time went on, as I began to grow but God did what he did was he kept me in tune into things, individuals that know about God and I have connections with them. So I start to learn more. I was in church. So I was in church, and even though I was clowning inside of Sunday school and acting like I didn't want to, I didn't want to hear what they were saying and making up little jokes. So how many books is in the Bible? 28. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? I used to act mad stupid and do dumb things and so on and so forth. I'm thinking that I'm going against everything that they talking about. And in reality, God is instilling his knowledge in me. He's using that as a fuel for me to want to continue to indulge. And the more I indulge, subconsciously, I'm absorbing. And just because you aren't paying a focus to something does not mean that you're not absorbing it. You're still absorbing that knowledge. You're still absorbing All of that in a nutshell. The skeptic is still absorbing that positivity. The skeptic is still absorbing that faith. It's still absorbing that curiosity or that hope. You understand? So when you look at skepticism, you have to break it down to where it comes from. We're all skeptics. We're all skeptics. At some point, in some way, someone's going to tell you that they doubt something that you're saying. Even if you have that knowledge. Sometimes even if you have the proof. They still going to doubt it. You understand? So it's the doubt of knowledge. It's the doubt of the understanding that someone else has or something has that they just don't believe in. They don't have faith on that, in that level. But the thing about it is that's a journey. There's nothing wrong with you doubting. It's a journey you're taking. Yeah, you've been through a lot. I can understand why you feel the way you feel. But that does not mean that the opposition isn't there. You understand? So let's go give it an example here. Let's talk about Eminem, for example, right? Because Eminem was something that I talked about in my last video. He had a song called Stand, right? And Eminem, he didn't believe in really cutting himself and doing all that extra stuff. He didn't believe in any of that. You understand? But the fan thought that that was a thing. He thought that's where they connected. And he fell in love with that. And the reality of it is it ended with a very drastic situation where he killed his pregnant girl and killed himself and sent the tape to Eminem. Now, this is just a song, but look at the reality. You know what I'm saying? That man had faith that this is what Eminem was. This is how Eminem dealt with life. This is how Eminem dealt with circumstances. You understand? But he couldn't understand why Eminem kept doubting a relationship between them, because he kept sending them letters and Eminem wasn't sending any back. But the reality of it is that Eminem was at work. You understand? Half the time he's not even touching his social media. Someone else is dealing with his social media while he's doing whatever other stuff he has to do. He has too much of a busy lifestyle to be sitting back just constantly texting on social media or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Or even looking at emails or anything like that. You got too much going on. You got to go do a song over here. You got a performance over here. Oh, dang, they just told him they wanted him to be in this movie. So now he's inside of a movie on random, which does what? You got to clock in from 8 in the morning all the way down to almost to the end of the night doing nothing but what? A shoot. You understand? So it's different values to it. You know what I'm saying? But when you're looking at your own little journey that you're dealing with, you know, you're gonna doubt. You're gonna doubt many things. You're gonna see many things that just don't sit right with you. And yo, let's be real. If you see nothing but darkness and somebody's telling you there's positivity and there's light and there's the light on the other side of the tunnel, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna question it. You're gonna doubt it because you never seen it yet. You didn't experience that yet. You understand? But let me be real honest with you. I've never experienced it yet. I've been in nothing but darkness from the time I was born to the time I was an adult. The devil doesn't hold back on me. Every single day I'm in a warfare. To this day, every single day I'm in a warfare. There's something that's gonna be in my way. Something that's gonna keep me from doing whatever I had to do. Man, I'm in a situation right now. But the reality of it is that I have control over what my life dictates. And in order to get the life and have the peace that I want, I have to work hard to make it happen. It's easy to quit. It's easy to give up. It's easy to walk away. It's easy to believe that there is good, that there is a positive thing going on, that there is light on the other side of the tunnel. That's all doubt. You understand? But doubt can also be, it could be fruitful. You know, there's doubt and fear. See, you always believed you was the ultimate and the most strong. You don't fear anything, so on and so forth. And until you find an opponent, you find somebody with a pressure that you ain't never felt before. You scared. For the first time, you're afraid. For the first time, you doubt your capability to protect yourself. See what I'm saying? So it's a behavior, it's a cultural thing, it's a community, it's all types of things that come with it. You know what I'm saying? When you have a doubtful behavior, what's going to happen is that you're always going to have a chip on your shoulder. Skepticism. You're doubting. You're always on alert. You just don't trust it. You just don't trust it. You know what I'm saying? You know, sometimes it could be a human being that might have scorned you. Maybe it's human beings in general. And they scorned you to a degree where you have lost your faith in humans. You lost your faith in a person actually being honest and fulfilling a promise that they told they would fulfill. So what tends to happen is that you draw a line. You draw a line and you draw what? Standards. And there's nothing wrong with standards. But the problem with standards is that you're expecting them to fit your narrative. But if they don't fit your narrative, then now you believe that proves you right. But that doesn't mean that at all. That doesn't mean that at all. You have to leave room for an understanding heart, right? But what that means is that if you're trying to see if somebody is going to uphold something that you didn't think they was going to uphold, you have to leave that leg room. You can't put that person in a small room full of clowns and then expect that, you know, they're going to just find this big space in the corner somewhere and they're going to be by themselves, not near the clowns. Or when I open the door, he ain't going to be near the clowns. He's going to be over there in the corner somewhere, probably away from them. But this real stuffed room, no space, and a bunch of clowns, that's impossible. You understand? You have to leave room. Okay? You have to leave room. See, the value isn't whether, you know, they fit your narrative. The value is if they actually did the deed. The value is that they actually paid attention, if they actually listened and took a step forward in the, you know, showing you something that's more fruitful than something that's not. You understand? So skepticism isn't necessarily bad. Sometimes it could be a good thing. So the behavior the behavior behind it is just a reflection of the feeling. You know what I'm saying? If I was beat 24/7 of my life, in the whole nine, you know, I'm gonna be a rough individual. You can't expect that I'm gonna be extra soft. You know what I mean? But if I was being treated with love majority of my life, you can't expect me to be extra hard. If I was raised around only women, you can't expect me to be, you know, extra hard body and callous and the whole nine. No, I wasn't raised around that. You understand? So that's the whole value behind it. So the behavioral comes with the emotional aspect, what I've been through and why I feel the way that I do. There's a movie that I like to watch. It's called Chronicles. And there's a young individual inside of the movie who's always getting beat by his father. His mother died. You know, he was always being called horrible. He was a geek and so on and so forth. He had no friends in school. People used to bully him, so on and so forth. And over time, he adopted this hate and this anger throughout all of his years of his life. And then, you know, his cousin was the only person that really showed him love. So he used to hang out with his cousin a lot. And then his cousin had another friend that they ended up meeting at a party, and they all became friends. And they ended up getting hit by this meteorite or this alien-looking thing, whatever. And in surviving that situation, they learned to develop what was known as telekinesis. They was able to move things and make things happen with their minds just from their thoughts. So all three of them was talented. You know what I'm saying? The friend was the second best. The weakest was the cousin, and the strongest was the young man. The reason why is because the young man had more of a tailored focus in trying to build something out of it. You understand? Versus the cousin who still was tattered to the earthly plane and his friends and family and so on and so forth. And then you got the dude over here. He's more into it because he's more kiddish and so on and so forth. So he's ready to handle business. He's making jokes, doing the whole nine. And actually, what's his name? Michael B. Jordan was actually the person who played the friend, and so on and so forth. And they were just having a good old time, enjoying their life, and so on and so forth. So all three of them was learning how to build the power that they had. They was trying to make it stronger. But the young individual in question, he had the strongest affinity. You understand? Because of his upbringing and things he went through, he had the most anger. So as time went on, when things started to hurt him a little bit more, or whatever the case was, sometimes he drew out of control because that power residing within him overwhelmed him, and he ended up making actions that weren't right. Long story short, he killed Michael B. Jordan by an accident. Out of anger, he shot lightning at him. Michael B. Jordan was so goofball and so on and so forth. When the dude was trying to teach him about creating barriers around him, he didn't pay attention to it because he was clowning too much. So he didn't know how to do that trick. So the lightning hit him and he died. And that messed with the young man's mind even more because he killed his best friend. So now he's losing his head. He's like, yo. But all of this now he's doubting life in himself. He's doubting the weak. He's doubting individuals who can't defend themselves. He's doubting all aspects of life. And he created a mantra or understanding of, an understanding of apex predator. Something of such absolute power that nothing can stop him. So his actions became that. And he got to the point where it overwhelmed him. And he lost his way. And he tried killing everybody. And his cousin had to be the hero, came in, finished him off. And he ended up dying in that movie. And the cousin ended up going off and, being the hero that he's supposed to be because of the powers he had, stuff like that. But the reality of it is that skepticism, faith, all these different things have a good and a bad to them. Every last one of them. Even faith. They all have a good and a bad to them, depending upon how you're perceiving that information. You understand? So when you're talking about the skepticism of something, we're really just talking about how we have a lack of faith and understanding of something. And even more so, we have a chip on our shoulder. We're on high alert, man. We don't trust nothing. You don't want to be around nothing. You don't trust the human being in front of you that's smiling and saying, hey, how you doing? I just wanted to get to know you. Because in your mind, what's your agenda? You understand? So I get the skeptic. I understand their notion. I understand why you feel the way you feel. But just understand that you aren't the only one feeling that way. We are all feeling that way. In some shape or form, we're all feeling that way. See, there's an abundance of things, and then there's a lack of things. You understand? Too much of something can be overbearing. See, eating food is good, but if you eat too much in one given time, you're going to get to a point where you're going to get bloated. You're going to get sick. You might get obese. Nothing to say about obese individuals, just saying in general, like it comes with consequence. You understand? If you have anger can fuel you and give you a lot of power. You know what I'm saying? A lot of strength. But the reality of it is that sometimes that anger can consume you and you can end up hurting somebody, or even worse, without meaning to. You understand? So too much of something can be a lot. It could turn out pretty bad. So the reality of it is that we now have to try to gain an understanding of why we feel the way we feel and what draws us to get there. So the mindset, we talked about the behavior. Now we're going to talk about the environment. Sometimes the mindset comes from the environment we are stepped in. I told you, for me, from the time I was born, I went into darkness. I was literally in foster care at the age of 3 years old. I didn't have the best of parents and the best of individuals watching me. I was beat. I was tortured. I went through all types of stuff. You understand? So in my mind, the value of survival is what's the forefront of my mind because of the environment I was in. Versus the person who was loved by his mom, loved by his dad, treated with respect and love and so on and so forth. Their natural response is to move with what? More of a relaxed, chilled, I'm at peace type of mindset. You understand? Unless you have an individual who happens to have a different thought process of things and, just doesn't get in tune with the whole value of relationship and love and family and the whole nine. So it really just depends on where you stand in your environment. You understand? But it also is the environment as well. Because let's put it like this. What's it called? All American. I love that show. In All American, you had the white brother, right? He never witnessed anything about a cop arresting them or nothing. So he was with the main character, and the main character is black, and they got pulled over, and they both got dropped to the ground. The main character is looking at him like, yo, look at me. Don't say nothing, don't move, don't do nothing. Just sit there. Everything's going to be all right. So then later on, he went to the father and said, you didn't teach your son what to do when dealing with cops of discrimination? Why would you not teach him that? Why did you not teach him the values of what happened to the black man and how to deal with cops and deal with individuals of discrimination? Why didn't you teach him that? That's forefront 101. That's the first thing the parent's supposed to teach. And the father said, yo, honestly, I never thought, I worked so hard to keep him out of that type of situation. I never thought he would get into something like that. And that's why I didn't teach him. But you know what? You're right. I should have. And the young man was scared. He was sitting there like, yo, I don't understand. Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't do nothing. Why they treat me like that? What you mean why they treat you like that? The one thing you got to understand, and I think a lot of people is not getting, and this is what the skeptic is saying as well, is that people do not care about you. Let's be honest. I'm not saying that a person doesn't have a care for you or don't love you or whatever they do. But the reality of it is that in the forefront of their mind, they're looking for their own stability. When you're in a relationship, you're not going to date somebody that don't fit your criteria because they don't fit your piece. So the reality of it is that you're going to put you first. And that's the reality. Let's put it like this. I'm in a relationship. I'm broke. Lost my job. Went through whatever I went through. Your partner is only going to help you up to a certain point. But they're expecting you to get yourself back on your feet. They're expecting you to get your money right. They're expecting you to start handling your business again sooner than later. In the beginning, they're going to tell you, I got your back, this, that, and the third, the whole nine, so on and so forth, which is true. They do. But it's going to get repetitive. So let's keep that thought in mind. And in some degree, people do not care about you. They care about themselves. And then in some degree, they do care about you. So the skeptic is saying that, yo, humans don't care. People aren't cool people. I don't like people because they're not nice. They're not awesome. They don't try to do nothing. When they are trying to be nice, there's a reason behind it. There's something that they want. There's an agenda behind everything they do. That's what the skeptic is saying. But the individual who's facing life and doesn't believe in that notion is a skeptic because he don't believe in his notion. So now he's saying, no, listen, I'm telling you, this is actually some real good in this life. Like this, that, and the third. I've seen it. I can prove it to you. So when you're looking at the value of things, you have the action, the behavior that comes with your mindset. But the behavior only becomes indoctrinated as you go into the environment that you was in, the things that you experienced, things that you faced, things that you went through, stuff like that. So you get kind of caught up in a sense, you understand? And it's that sense of, it's that fear that really puts you in that position. You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that the skeptic doesn't want to be proven wrong. Because they do. In reality, they want someone to show them and tell them that, yo, I'm telling you, it's something better out here. You understand? So you have to really look at that value. And a lot of times it's hard to look at that value because what we're really looking at in the forefront of our minds, what we're really paying attention to is what it is that we want, why we want it, and why we want to be placed in that way. Why do we want to be, what is the information that we're looking for? You understand? But I'm here to tell both the skeptic and the non-skeptic that you have to understand both parts. See, when you're in a debate, right, there's a thing called a debate. And in debates, you have two different viewing points, two different viewing individuals. They both have different mindsets and how they feel, different stances that they stand on. When you're dealing with a debate, the rules behind it is that at some point within the debate, you have to acknowledge your opponent. That's how a true debate is. At some point in the debate, you can't keep hitting with rebuttals. At some point, you have to acknowledge your opponent. Why? Because you're letting your opponent know that I understand your point in view. I understand where you're at. But this is why I say that this is why I say that there's a better way. See, because from my point of view, I only see what I see. From their point of view, they only see what they see. But if you was to take yourself, change your lens, go to the corner and take it from their point of view, now you can see what they're seeing in their lens. So you get a greater understanding. You understand? And that's a strong value right there. Then you can go back to your lens. And now that you have an understanding of what's going on from this point of view, you then have a greater ability to explain and find a solution. That's debating. When you have a debate, you want people to take your stance, but they're not going to take your stance if there isn't proof, right? So in order to find that proof, you have to take their view, okay? It's the only way. It's the only right. So if I'm having a debate with somebody about the hierarchy of status and so on and so forth, and how the rich is given all the money and all the responsibilities and given all I meant to say opportunities and so on and so forth, the skeptic is going to decline that if he doesn't trust it. I don't trust your view. I don't trust your mindset. I don't trust your action, because that's not what I see in my lifestyle. It's not what I witnessed in my experiences. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at some point, the skeptic still in some way wants you to show them there could be a better way. And sometimes they will look at you in that sense. And it's okay. You understand? But I just want to say, I thank you guys for coming on to this video to have this conversation about skepticism. And it's really about being, alert. You doubt the things that's around you. You doubt the individuals around you. You doubt their mindsets, the thought processes, and whether they're going to follow through what they say. And it's understandable. We all going through that. When you're dating somebody, someone tells you, yo, I'm different. I'm a different type of man. I'm going to treat you right. 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be a skeptic to that. You're not going to believe it right away. You have to see it. You're going to doubt it. You're probably going to look in they phone 24/7, who they liking on Instagram and the whole 9, who they texting, who they calling, where you at. The whole 9. You start off all extra heavy because your experiences show that men got a bad rap. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa for the women too. Men do the same thing. If I got hurt by another woman and I've been with her for years and I thought that me and her was solid and she did what she did, the next woman I might not trust. Let's be real. You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at it in those stances. So when we're talking about skepticism, sometimes you need to take a chance to stop and really pay attention to the things you're saying, things you do. You understand? Because you could be a skeptic without ever realizing it. In fact, we all are. You know what I'm saying? We don't believe every single view that someone's talking about, and we don't trust every single action or in behavior or person, nothing like that. So we're all skeptics in our own right. You understand? But the reality of it is a choice that you have to make. How you want your life to be. Why you want your life to be that way. Which way do you want to be viewed? That's up to you. That's something that you have to decide. So for me, I chose positivity. I chose to be the best version of myself and to show people that there is one. I want to be a beacon of hope. You know what I'm saying? I could have chose a different route. From the stuff I dealt with, I could have been a crazy man. I could have been running around hurting people and doing things that I shouldn't be doing, but I chose to take a different path. So at the end of the day, whether you have skepticism or you don't, whether you have a faith, you don't have a faith, you doubt what people are going to do and how they do things and so on and so forth, the reality of it is that we're all here to make a choice. We're all here to walk a path that we chose to walk. You understand? And the same goes for religion. You may not believe in Christians. You might not believe in Christianity. You might not believe in God. But God even says that that's up to you. It's your choice. God gave us all free will. So I get to choose how I want to walk my path. But I got to deal with the consequence that come with it at the end. And that's just the reality of it is. It's just a choice. So you have to now look in yourself. Look yourself in the mirror. This is what I challenge everybody. Look yourself in the mirror. If you see something you don't like, I challenge you to tell that part of you how beautiful it is. I challenge you to find the joy and the love in that. I challenge you to take a stance opposite of your own. You understand? For those individuals who do already do that, I challenge you to pay attention to the opposite. I challenge you to pay attention to why the pain is there. I told somebody one time, I said, yo, if you know how we call people psychopaths when they was killing millions of people and so on and so forth. I asked somebody one time, I said, yo, what if the psychopath actually on the inside is still screaming for help? The Joker. You feel me? Like, what if somewhere deep inside he's still screaming for help? And actually there was an episode on that. It was a cartoon episode where the Joker he got hit with some type of toxin or something like that brought out the innocent side of him, the good side. And the good side really said he didn't want to be that way. On a thousand levels. Sometimes that insane person that's going through something right now, they hoping somebody could change their mind. You just never know, you know what I'm saying? I think that everyone has a chance of redemption. But like I said, it's a choice. You gotta choose. A good man's gonna be a good man if he wants to be. You want a faithful man? If he's ready and he wants to be, he's gonna be faithful. If he's not worth it. We gotta stop thinking that we could change people, because you can't. You can give them advice. You can try to express your knowledge and understanding. You could show them through your walks. At the end of the day, they have to choose on whether that's what they want to do or they don't. So that's why I'm gonna wrap it up for this video. And so on and so forth. But I just wanted to let this video come out. First of all, I want to shout out the individual that actually had me do this video. So their Instagram, definitely check them out. Follow them. If they have a YouTube or anything like that, and a link tree or anything they have, follow them, so on and so forth. Thank you so much for your topic of choice. I'm glad that I was able to do the video for this topic of choice, and I also apologize if it took me a while to get it done. I'm a stickler with perfection when it comes down to my videos, so I want them to be a specific way. Like, they gotta be good, like, you know what I'm saying? So I take my time in trying to make it happen. But for that individual, I did your topic on skepticism. I hope that I was able to give you, an understanding, not only on the definition or the value of what a skeptic is or a skepticism is, but also find a solution. You know what I'm saying? To whatever, it is that you were seeking for this topic. As for anybody else, if you have any other topics, anything that you want me to cover, definitely hit my DMs on my Instagram, which is Guerrilla Tactics 88. Definitely hit me up. I have plenty of topics that I want to do. As for the next video that I'm going to be doing, we're going to be talking about power again. But this time, whereas we were talking about the raw indoctrinated form of power in the first one, the second one is power of authority. There's different forms of power that a lot of people don't pay attention to, and that's going to be the next video. So thank you so much for tuning in to Guerrilla Tactics. Please like, subscribe, and comment to my videos. And most importantly, hit that notification bell so you can get updates on any future shows that I'm going to be putting up soon. And other than that, we just here to make more bangers and have a good time. And thank you so much. God bless you all. Have a blessed day.
Know who it is. It's your boy.